being apprehended by the cops. He did resist arrest. He did flee the policeman, but then he was gunned down in the back 7 times, and we're gonna discuss that today. Okay, but I did want you to know our view on it. That we do view in a collective. Justin, can you back me on this? That he did resist arrest.
Yes.
He did flee from the police.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's coffee time stance on that. But let's get into it. What's up, my dude?
Hey, just here enjoying this lovely quote unquote coffee.
Quote unquote coffee. What you drinking there?
Straight whiskey and coke.
Whiskey and Coke. I got some coffee my damn self. Pointing at the little camera for you guys. I'm in the little window though.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ooh,
Mm.
that's a nice looking mug though.
Yeah, dude, this is. I love this mug. I got it in Yosemite. So,
Ooh.
dude, we've been texting back and forth about this, and I was really debating on talking about this subject because not even because of the conversations that we've had because we have very different views. It's just that, dude, I'm getting worn out.
Mhm.
I'm getting worn out covering this story. I'm not. Of course, I'm sick of it. I'm just getting worn out where it's just you have to put so much thought into this because you want to structure your opinion in a way that even the minute of minds can relate to you, like or people that don't really see an open world that can understand me. That like okay, we see where he's going coming from, and I don't understand him or I do understand him, but just form a nice opinion with these
Mhm.
things. So you do research, you read about it, then you have to look at other stories that are also just tragic and sad, and it's just like when is it going to stop? Like, when it's probably never going to stop, and that's what we just have to get to. But what I came to the conclusion today, man, is the whole 2020 thing, bro, is like everyone's like, hey, in 2020, I'm gonna see 2020 vision, right? Like
Yeah.
this year is actually showing us a lot of things that was blurry or being overlooked, and now it's clear as day and everything.
Mhm.
So let's talk about the shooting.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your opinion on it?
So by now, a lot of people have seen the video. It's gone viral. Celebrities have spoken out against it, everything like that. My view from it, and it is the unpopular opinion, it is the opinion that is hard to get any type of following because a lot of people just want to jump on the popular opinion of, hey, this was wrong, this and that, let's go protest this, whatever. But my opinion on it is the cops were justified in the way they handled it. Now, the 7 shots that people are talking about, I'm not the cop. I can't say why he did seven. I don't know why it wasn't just one. I can't say. I can't speculate on, what the police protocol is whenever it comes to finally drawing your weapon and shooting. So I have no way of commenting on that, but it's kind of clear to me. So in the video, not even the facts that have already been, leaked out, whatever. In the video, you're seeing that this man has been tased, brought to the ground, trying to get restrained in that way, escapes police custody, is walking around a vehicle, opens the door, and then reaches downward. It's not that he's trying to get in or trying to say, hey, I'm just checking on my kids, whatever, but he reaches. And at that point, that's whenever you hear the 7 shots.
Okay,
So that's where my viewpoint is on that.
okay. So let's talk about that. The one thing that because we've both seen the video, I think you actually
Mhm.
shared it. No, did I share it to you? No, I think you shared it to
You
me.
shared you shared to me the first angle, and I shared to you the second angle
Yeah,
that
and
was
the
released.
first angle is the one that's getting the most attention because it shows a
Mhm.
man that's being chased by the cops or being
Mhm.
confronted by the cops, go around the vehicle, opening his door. I don't see him reaching at all. I see him just there, like he's struggling to get in because someone's holding him back, and then you hear pop, 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 pop. I thought it was like 4 or 5. I didn't know it was 7.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why, like, okay, so history came out, or not history, facts came out about Jacob Blake. He's not the most outstanding human being here, right? He's not
Mhm.
the model citizen. He's had multiple encounters with the law, had an active warrant, and everything like that. this is where I just like I can't do this anymore. It's not about how they if they killed a bad person or a good person. It's just how brutal it was and how just it was just brutal, like brutality at its best there. You have three cops that can't subdue a man that weighs around 170, 185 pounds. They tase him. Now, if they tase him, I've been tased before. Did they actually hit him? Or are they saying that we deployed a taser and we missed? Like, where's that
Hmm.
at? There's no information about that. So, and I've
Yeah.
seen people 300 plus get hit with a taser and they're fucking down, right? So he
Hmm.
gets up, sure, wrong, right there. He should just be calm and everything like that. Accept what's going on to him, and just then we'll handle the situation after the book or such, and whatever. He gets out. He's panicking. He runs across the car. They're chasing him. He goes down. We didn't know, and they didn't know that there was a knife in the car, right? That came out later. But they
Yeah.
could see that he would or assume that he's reaching for something, like you said. Because I don't
Hmm.
know if he was reaching. I thought he was just climbing in his car, and um, the man used deadly force, which I do not disagree on the level of or the act of deadly force because he could have been worried and he could have been frightened for his life. And I think the laws is if you to allow deadly force, there must be a threat to your own life or to the general public, right? And
Hmm.
I can see where the cop can do that. It's just the amount of like there's so many different points of contact that you need to meet before you draw your gun. Like there's three bodies there. I can take that man down myself, and am I more like more well trained than than a cop? Why is he unloading seven rounds in someone? He can't shoot to injure, not shoot to kill. And
Well, the
his
thing is, as a cop, you're not trained to shoot to injure. You are trained center mass, shoot to kill if you had to pull out your weapon. It, because I'll hear that argument a lot, like, "Oh, why didn't you shoot him?" Like, you've been to a range with me. How hard is it to shoot a gun at 5 feet away?
dude, it is extremely difficult. Like
So,
honestly,
you know,
it is. I was shocked how difficult it was.
yeah, and the thing with that people don't realize about bullets, like there's two different types of bullets. There's type of bullets that have no type of hollow point or whatever. They're just regular bullets, and then you have hollow points. So the way that regular bullets work is if you shoot it at someone, it's just gonna tear through, and it may not even phase people. A lot of people will be shot and it doesn't phase them because it just goes straight through. They don't die instantly. Hollow points enters the body and then it punctures like a shotgun, like it'll just spread out, and that's how it's a more effective thing. So with what this police officer had, I have no clue.
But
But I do agree that there's a lot of points that need to be met, but there's been too many incidents, especially during traffic stops, to where it just escalates to, hey, we're pulling you over, guns pulled, done. So do they still need to make that same type of thing? Like, oh, we got to ask you first. No, like people that have a gun will just pull it out and then that's
I
it.
just don't
No
think
more
you
than that.
should take a man's life based on assumption. That's my thing here.
Yeah, and I can agree with that to an
I and I
extent, but
I think that's why also the brutal like people are protesting, and of course no one riots are just bad and negative, and they will turn a situation so sad and deserve the press, and it takes away from the actual timeline and story here, and it goes into the riots. So, of
mhm.
course, I will never say I agree with riots unless you were killed, homie. I'm rioting for you. I'm just letting you know right now. But
Bro, no one would care because I'm Mexican, so sorry.
it,
I'm in the back burner of everything.
right now, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what 2021 brings.
Who knows, dude? But like, yeah, I would never agree with rioting at all.
Mhm.
But I agree with these protests. I love that the NBA is stepping down. I love that every team on the NBA voted to continue the playoffs after the two-game layoff and the freeze, and then LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard from LA Lakers and LA Clippers said nah, and then those two teams continue to protest because we don't need to give the world distractions here, which is UFC, basketball, tennis, NASCAR, movies. We need to put all the focus on the true story here and everything, which is still, I'm gonna say, police brutality, and then we'll get into the race in just a second.
Okay, well, I disagree about the whole NBA and all that stuff. The reason why is because I really wish these things would separate politics from entertainment. Just like within movies, like I don't want to see politics. I want to be entertained. Like I'm paying for entertainment and all this stuff. And it's good that they're protesting whatever, but not at that point. Like, you're there to do a job. Like it's like me like not going to work because I'm protesting Mondays. Like it doesn't really make sense. And the other thing too is like, okay, they're outraged by this, but why weren't they outraged about Cannon? Why weren't they outraged about the 5-year-old white boy that was shot in the back of the head? Why aren't they protesting during that? Why aren't they protesting during other instances where the races are mixed? Why does it have to be only whenever a black person dies? Why can't it be when a white person dies?
It's not really. I don't even think right now. Okay, so um, uh, this is what I do here. Hold on for a second. So I don't believe that they're only protesting for only black people or a black person dies or a person of color. I just believe there has been so many in a row that dying that are black that are consistent that it has to be targeted, right? Like give like the analogy as well. Look, you have white people here, black people here, Asian people over here. Then you got Mexicans over here. And then you got miscellaneous and everything else over here. All of these houses. If that one house, which is the black house, is on fire, what do you want to do? Do you want to spray all the houses with the same amount of water, or do you want to focus on the Black Lives Matter, or you know what I mean by that? I don't support the group Black Lives Matter, by the way. I support the movement, not that group. And we can talk about that in a later podcast because you guys really need to do your research on what that group is actually doing with the money that you're donating. Anyway,
Hmm.
but the black house, you want to focus all that attention so the fire cannot spread. Because this is what's gonna happen. Right now, black people are getting picked on, right? By the media. By the media. I'm not even saying the policeman or the police department or the blue department, right? I'm just saying by the media. They're getting focused on and they're causing riots right now. Our house is burning right now. And if everyone does not help our house get on fire, it's gonna burn down. That means it's gonna be done. No one's gonna care anymore for a while until we rebuild it. But it's gonna go to someone else's house, and then we're gonna see chaos or insanity defined at its best, doing the same thing doing the same thing a repeated amount of times and expecting a different result. And it's just going to spread, and then we're going to rebuild our house, and then it's going to happen again. We need to stop this shit now. And that's how I feel about it. That's why that's because I thought about it too, man. I thought that why are they just protesting black lives? And then I just had this thought when I was just thinking about the whole 2020 year and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, but but that goes back to the media though, because that's all they shine the light on. Like, because the only thing that shows is white versus black, black versus white, whatever.
Yeah.
But statistically, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, you're wrong," but this is through FBI, this is through different organizations that do studies on, encounters and everything like that. That white people actually are killed more often than black people by a large percentage. It's actually less that an African American will encounter a cop and it'll lead to an alteration to where it involves a death. And it's just shown more. Like I understand, like right now it's being shown a lot. Breonna Taylor with George Floyd, now with Jacob Blake. All
Aubrey.
these people. Yeah. Well, Aubrey wasn't with cops. It was just with
Oh
these
yeah, yeah, you're right.
people
You're
that.
right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. He was hunted down by these ignorant people. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Do I believe racism exists? Absolutely, but I don't think that every cop just targets black people. And
No.
that's the thing. Like that's the narrative that's being painted right now to where we want to defund them because they're all racist. There's no such thing as a good cop. Like, you know, if like the thing that we need to talk about is, like with everyone's defunding police, well, there was no body cams on the officers in Wisconsin because they don't have the funding for that.
Yeah, and
If
that's
there
a
were body cams, yeah.
yeah, that is a big thing I wanted to get into as well. Is when I read about that, and I was like, why would I have Like me and you, dude. I'm telling you, I've seen you secure a takedown and do position over submission in BJJ. Why are just two average dudes talking on a podcast? We have better grappling skills or control of a opposing human's body than those officers. How the fuck does that work? And this where it comes
Well,
with funding the police and everything like that. I get it.
mhm.
I get it.
Yeah, because I don't know what type of training they receive. I would honestly love to do a video of, me and you going to like academy to see, because there was this video I saw a while back of a guy that was like anti-gun, anti all this, and they brought him to a training thing to where he had to pretend to be a cop and go to a situation of domestic violence.
Oof,
And
that's
like he
rough.
had to, it was all, actor portrayed whatever. He had a fake weapon that just shot paintballs, whatever. So he has his, he's walking, telling him to de-escalate. The guy walks up to him, he draws his weapon and fires. They're like, "Why'd you fire? Why'd you fire?" And it was that tough question. He was like, when you're in that moment, you don't have that time to think. You just know someone's coming towards you. You don't know their intent. You have the weapon. That's all you have right now. So, and it's that thing like, we said about the de-escalation, they did try talking, and he didn't run to his vehicle. He walked.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Like a lot of people are like, oh, he ran to, no, he walked calmly. They had their guns drawn, repeatedly said, stop, stop, stop. We will shoot. Stop. And then I don't know if you heard this or not, but in the video he actually says drop the knife before he starts shooting. He
Mm,
yelled, drop the knife.
I don't know about that one, Justin.
Yeah. No, no, no. The reason why is because on the second angle you could kind of hear something, something knife,
I don't need a
and then that's
kinda. I need clear,
yeah,
concise
and that's
audio.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that. And the longer that they talk about the story, the more the facts. Like whenever we found out about George Floyd, we found the second footage.
hmm
Whenever we talked about Breonna Taylor, we saw the other things that led
Yeah,
up to it.
hundred
This
percent.
is just what that is. But the thing is, people don't want to wait for that news. They're just automatically let's hang these people out to dry. Let's arrest them, this and that, instead of, hey, there is such thing as due process, and then innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
Like
but
whatever.
I don't feel like you need a due process to protest in a way.
Yeah,
You
oh
know.
yeah, protesting is a different thing. Like if you want to protest, by all means protest peacefully. But
Yeah,
what
of
we've been
course.
seeing is there's not been an instance of peaceful protesting.
Well,
At least I haven't seen.
there's been peaceful protesting, but there's also been riots. They're not the same thing, and we can't conjoin them to be the same thing. You're either
Just like you
protesting,
can't conjoin every cop is bad.
huh?
Just like you can't conjoin every cop is
Yeah,
bad.
like you can't conjoin every black person as
Mhm.
a threat, but
Yeah,
some people
exactly.
think that.
Hmm.
There's actually a study that I looked up. Let me switch over to me. All right, so I looked up this study, and it was 100 women filled out what is the most attractive man, and then like a few words tell me why. So it was like
Hmm.
Mexican, Asian, black, white, and well, make up like two more, right?
Hmm.
It was like 73%, dude, preferred a Caucasian white male over anyone. And then there was
Hmm.
comments like, but and then there was like a 21% that preferred black men, and then like there was just little whatevers. But in the explanation of why do they prefer this race over this race, they said they feel safer with a white man and or a white Caucasian man, and he will not cheat or leave. And with a black man, they feel threatened by him. So uh, the study doesn't really tell the true story there. What I'm trying to get up, someone else took that story and applied it in a workspace. Just change the words a little bit. What type of coworker would you like to have? Again, 70 something percent. It was like 71 for that one. And then
Hmm.
this college professor did this social experiment saying, who do you feel more threatened by or endangered when you're with them? So all the black males, white males, Indians, whatever, and then it's like 90 something percent that was a black male, and it was in the explanation was stereotypes, looks,
Hmm.
demeanor, and everything. And this is like the second podcast. We need to bring up the gentleman. What's the 70-year-old white kid?
Uh,
What is his name?
let me get his name. I have it here. Uh, crap. It's
Boom,
not that
boom,
one.
boom,
Let's
boom.
see. His name was Kyle Rittenhouse.
Wow.
Rittenhouse.
Okay, Cal R. That's what I'm gonna call you. Um, yeah, let's talk about that. So the video that
Hmm.
we saw, right? I'm gonna tell you what I saw, and then you can tell me what you saw.
Of course.
I saw a kid release some rounds into to some people, have his gun on his body, right, and he gets attacked. Shoots again, gets up, and then he's running at first towards the police, and he slows down. He puts his hands up, has his weapon, and he keeps walking too, walking towards the police. The police are just screaming at him, "Stop, sit down, lay down," and everything, and he's just completely disregarding the commands and keeps walking forward until he's in the safety of the police, and they like tell him to move on the side. He does that with his hands up the entire time, and then they proceed to move forward in their
Hmm.
cars and everything like that. Now, that's what I saw. Then what did you see?
So actually, there's footage before the encounter that leads up to all this. So it actually shows police officers with a bunch of people with rifles. I don't know the specific. I don't want to call them all AR-15s. They could be different ones, but rifles, geared up, and they're actually talking to police, and they're like, "Hey, what is your business here?" And they're saying, "We just want to make sure that people are being safe. We're going to be rendering aid and protecting businesses, and if anything happens, we're going to be calling, all this stuff." So they're actually talking to these people, including Kyle himself. So that's a video that actually has not really been released. I'm gonna try posting it on like Facebook to see if it takes off or whatever. But anyway, so that all happens. And then what's not seen is why he shot the first time. So he was actually tackled to the ground, beaten over the head with a brick by a rioter, and at that point he draws his weapon and then fires at him. So at that point he's running and he's trying to go to the police because he was what in his mind was going to turn himself in for what happened. So he's running, gets tackled again by another wave of people. Again, beating him, skateboards, fists, whatever, shoots again. Starts running toward the police, slows down, hands in the air, everything like that. I didn't hear the commands of the stop, don't lay down. That's just I didn't hear that. I might just be deaf. I mean, my hearing is terrible,
Well, just
but
think
I'm
about it.
here.
Logically, if you see a man walking towards you with an AR-15 or an AR or whatever, a
Mhm.
gun, you would naturally tell him to stop, explain, lay down, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. And I don't know why he didn't. I don't know what the mindset was. Either he was scared to be apprehended by the mob or what was going on. Because I'd feel a lot safer more toward the police. I wouldn't feel safe in the middle to where they could still get me, grab my weapon, use it on me. Because I have an AR-15. I mean, mine's fucking right here for crying out loud. And if this was happening in my city, I would like to have my AR in front of my home to protect my home, whatever. And if something were to happen, call the police, hands in the air, and be like, hey, this is what happened, yada yada. Follow every command. So why he didn't, I don't know. But I'm seeing hands in the air, hands off his weapon, walking, obeying whatever, or at that point they're telling him get off the road, all that stuff. And then later on, what's not seen in the video is he is actually arrested and he is being charged as an adult.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, I'm gonna talk about your first video that you brought up, where the cops are asking them why are they there,
Mhm.
what's their purpose, and everything like that. I don't feel like that's relevant for what the people or the public is trying to make here. I feel like they are definitely trying to compare apples to oranges in an incorrect way, and
Mhm.
they're trying to say in a weird manner, like a very weird manner, why isn't this kid dead? Like
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
think if the kid got shot by the cops, they would be like happy or just be like okay about it. But if the kid got shot by the cop, it's really weird. Like where
Yeah.
I'm reading on Twitter and everything like, hey, why this kid got to sleep in his own bed, didn't get arrested, and he got apprehended, and it's like
Yeah.
I think they're wording this very wrong, and I'm like. in a way how I look at him like, oh, they're wanting this kid to be shot by the cops. Wait, what are we doing
Yeah,
here? I thought we're against
and that's
that.
why I asked you earlier. I was like, well, why do people want him to essentially be killed,
Yeah,
like
but
eye for an eye?
this is me, man. This is where I
Hmm.
see it. Where it shows like this shows you right here that that study that I just talked about applies. That people when they see a black male that is a stereotypical black male, right? Let's just put it out
Hmm.
there, and we know the stereotype, and it's not a good stereotype, but we know it. But the stereotypical black male, they feel threatened. They don't
Hmm.
give they like his inch is a centimeter in the like the leeway that you can take, and I believe with the police because there's evidence out there. This shows us the evidence in my mind. This is how I'm looking at it and interpreting the video. This guy is a white male, obviously frantic, moving at extreme pace, and then he moves at a very weird pace where he's walking and stopping, and his hands is up and his hands are getting lower. He's scared by the cops. He doesn't know what to do, and he's probably petrified by the commands. That's why he doesn't listen to them.
Hmm.
But he continues to disobey. And he has a gun. There's no assumption here. There's no he has a weapon, a deadly
Yeah, yeah.
force weapon. It's there. And the cops did the correct thing, but I would have loved to see some enforcement like what Jacob Blake got, where he was being enforced in that position and everything like that. There was nothing. There was no cop came over him to check him out, told him to lay down and whatever. They just passed on by, and that's why fucking people are actual mad right there. Because that white male did not get the same enforcement that a black male would get at that time. And that's why I was irritated about it.
Hmm. But let me ask you this: do you think it's about race, or do you think it's because those officers were trained better?
So
Because
we'll
that's
never
another
know.
question you gotta ask.
We'll never
Like,
know.
yeah, and that's
I believe that any trained policeman, right? Hold on, let me throw out the window. Any trained policeman would apprehend Cal, tell him to lay
hmm.
down, get his weapon away from him, and talk to him. Any trained
Yeah, yeah,
policeman would do that. They wouldn't ignore him and tell him to go on the side. They
yeah, yeah,
would
and I completely agree.
they would do their job to make sure that guy has a weapon. He's acting frantic. He's not listening to your commands. They would make him stop, explain, and make sure that he's not a threat to the general public or themselves. So when
Yeah,
you ask me if they were trained, no, they were not. They were not. And
yeah, and that's a
I
good point
believe
because
that's it's just based on race. They didn't feel threatened because he's white. If there was a black
mhm.
man there, we're having a whole different story here.
Yeah, but again, it just goes by the cop because a lot of people will compare like, oh, like let's just say the Columbine, like, oh, these people, killed all these things. Why weren't they, brutally like they got arrested peacefully, this and that. I'm like, do you not see like there's a difference between like, trained officers that are meant to deal with these situations and a regular beat cop?
So
And these situations are, they are a little different. Like, yeah, I do agree that, they should have had weapons drawn on them. Like, hey, put down the AR, get down. I do agree that they did all that. I'm glad he's fine. Like, I really wish a lot of people were glad he's fine and then ask the question, well, why then? Instead of being like, well, why did this person die and he didn't? Like, why would you want a 17-year-old to die? Like, that doesn't sound right to me.
I really feel that they don't know how to answer to ask that question correctly. I feel like the question
Hmm.
should be like why did the cops respond to these situations differently? That's what the question should be. Not why is Kyle still alive or
Hmm.
why did Jacob get shot 7 times? And that's it. And also, I think we're gonna get blown up if I don't correct you on that. The Columbine shootings, they did not get arrested. What happened to
Oh,
them?
oh no, they killed themselves. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I couldn't think of anything else, so I just said
No,
Columbine.
I knew you knew what it is, but I just don't want you to
Yeah,
like these fucking idiots. They don't know what they're
we don't know
talking.
anything.
Yeah,
I've
but
seen We Are Columbine on Hulu. Calm down.
yeah, it's incredible,
It's
incredible
such a
piece,
good
man.
movie. Yeah.
Incredible piece. But yeah, dude, I really appreciate how it's like how you can explain yourself in such a way where it is completely different than what I saw.
Hmm.
But you know how to talk or like express your opinion in a way where I'm like, is Justin racist? you know, because if you said this, if you put a post, well, because you did put a post, and
I did.
you're gonna get fired from it, because a lot of people are not gonna understand
Yeah,
your
they
point.
just want to use emotion instead of,
Yeah,
trying to rationalize the situation.
yeah, you need to.
Like I think what happened to Jacob Blake, I wish it didn't. I really wish that it just ended to where he was down on the ground and that was it.
Yeah,
I really wish he could go home, walk again, everything like that. But of course, the situation happened the way it happened.
yeah, it's a terrible situation.
Hmm.
It's a horrible situation. But damn it, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going on with that? I think we talked about a little bit of everything, right?
Hmm.
Okay, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, I mean, give your opinions about, what y'all think. Everything on here is gonna stay in the comments. We're not gonna delete any posts, so please try and be respectful to the others. Voice your opinions about this. If there's something on your mind, let us know. Don't be afraid to have the difference of opinions. Make sure you listen to us on all podcast networks, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube and our Facebook channel. We post every week. We're going to be starting a new segment on Mondays where we just kind of bullshit. Other than that, anything from you, Caps?
Yeah, the Monday thing's a big deal because podcast news Thirsty Thursdays are a little rough, like because news is negative. I promise you, we're
Hmm.
gonna bring you some positive. I promise you, we're gonna bring you some positive news soon, hopefully. But I am happy that 2020 is actually giving us 2020 vision on the issues that we face in this country. It's testing everyone's will. I just want you to say, I want you to think to yourself and say to yourself, I will stay strong through this and I will mature. That's the most important part here. Look at what's going on and allow it to shape and grow you. Don't let it stumble you into a mindset where you're just stuck and you're stubborn and you will not allow yourself to learn or to accept a difference of an opinion or the actual definition of opinions and not facts and everything. But Monday's cool. I don't know what we're gonna call it. It might just be coffee time, or it might be
Something.
who we'll get it. But Monday we're
We'll
gonna
get
have a
it.
lot of fun. Okay. But until next time, peace. That was fun, right?
Yeah. And it's good that we have the difference because it is two different perspectives on the same issue. And that's what the country needs to do. Like, they need to come together